we're going. All right, so today, U.S. History, Chapter 3, Colonial America, Lesson 1, Roanoke and Jamestown. So today's objectives are to know the reasons colonists migrated to the Americas, the complex relationship between colonists and Native Americans, and the challenges that the colonists at Jamestown and Plymouth faced. So, most people think that the first, or if you ask most people, they would answer the question, what was the first English colony in North America, with the answer Jamestown. But Jamestown was not the first English colony in North America. It was the first successful colony, but we'll talk about that later. The first colony was actually Roanoke. And so this all comes about because Spain has established colonies in North America, has pulled gold and silver out of those colonies, and is shipping across the Atlantic to Europe. And the other European powers notice this, and they all are very interested in getting a piece of this action. No country more so than England. And so England had a monarch, Elizabeth I at the time, and she was persuaded by Sir Walter Raleigh to establish a colony in North America. And so she allowed Raleigh to send an expedition to sort of find a suitable place. And so the end result was Roanoke was established in 1587. Now, the colony had a very difficult time. They weren't prepared for the environment. They weren't able to feed themselves very well. And so their leader, John White, goes back to England to get additional supplies. And upon his return, which is delayed for several years because of England's fight with Spain. But anyway, when he returns to the colony, it is deserted. And no one ever really knows what happened to the people of Roanoke, but they vanished. And so the next colony to be established was Jamestown. This was sometime later, and the monarch at the time, James I, wanted to renew England's quest for a colony in North America, and so he granted the Virginia Company, which was a joint stock company, which is a vocabulary term, which now you're familiar with, right? And he granted them a charter, which is another vocabulary term that you know, in December of 1606. And so in April of 1607, the colonists were able to establish Jamestown in what is now Virginia. And so at first the colonists, they did not find the gold and riches that they were expecting. They did, however, later discover that they could raise tobacco and pay for the investors, pay the investors in that way. And so this wasn't immediate. At first, they were struggling to get established, just like the people of Roanoke had. But they were able to get help from the Native Americans. And so this is how they were able to establish themselves. This does sort of later on, the Native Americans, they fall out of favor with the Native Americans, and they quit helping them. And the winter of 1609 to 1610 was called the starving time, because literally people starved to death, hundreds of people. And so the colonists were later able to reestablish connections with the Powhatan, and were able to make a go of the colony. And again, pay their investors by raising profitable tobacco. So Jamestown grew as relations with the Powhatan improved, and women were sent into the colony to replace those people that had died. And the Virginia Company began giving what was called a headride, another vocabulary term, to settlers who paid their own way to the colony. And a headride was a grant of land, as you know. And so this was very attractive to people, Europeans, because land was hard to come by. And so they were willing to make the perilous journey across the Atlantic to get to North America for the promise of their own land. And so the colony of Jamestown grows, and so as any community learns as it grows and changes, that they have to be able to govern themselves and establish rules to live by, so that people live in peace. And so since they were so far from England, they had to establish their own method of deciding what to do and how to do it. And so from this, the House of Burgesses is born. And so these landowning male colonists were able to vote for representatives who served in the House of Burgesses. And this is important because it becomes North America's first elected legislature, a lawmaking body. And we'll talk about this more later when we start talking about the conflict conflict between the various colonies and England, and who's going to run the colonies. So that's all that we have for now. There are questions associated with the lesson that I need you to answer. They're attached, and there of course is much more information. This is just a very brief overview of the lesson, so we need to read that and go into the details of who helped these colonies become established and to survive, and it'll all be part of the lesson.